Climbing, Discover Your Money Temperament, Chapter 6. This is the crux of the argument of the book. This is I think, one of the more important chapters of the book, and it's where we took the title for the book, and it's called Money Temperament. Money temperament is what happens in your head that causes you to act, believe, behave the way you do with money. It's a composite of your feeling brain, thinking brain, behaving on a daily basis. Money temperament is unique to you. It is part of your biology. It is your genetic makeup. It's your emotional markers. It's your belief set. It is your culture. It's everything that came together to focus in your head regarding money. Money temperament is your default option with regard to your relationship with money. It's how you naturally feel and think when you spend and make money choices. Money temperament is complex. It's constantly evolving. It's more of what are the natural behaviors that you exhibit in spending situations that you need to know about, because once you understand your temperament, it's not change your temperament, because I believe a lot of that is fixed or it's just painful to go do it. It's manage your behavior. So identify your temperament, accept who you are. If you're an outlier and you're doing really crazy stuff, which is totally dysfunctional, that's a different story. And that means you probably need professional help. That's not what this is for. Most people I've worked with, most people I talk to are normal people. They do normal things with money. The reality is they've just never learned this stuff. They thought they were just going along with the pack, and that's okay. So when I talk about temperament, temperament is everything that goes into your head to make you do the things you do with money, when you do the things you do with money, and emotionally how you feel about money. Money temperament might be, are you naturally a saver or a spender? Saver spender. Saver spender means I get emotional satisfaction out of spending money. That's okay. A lot of people do that. It's enjoyable to go to a new place, a new store. It's enjoyable to go to a big mall. It's enjoyable to surf the internet. And it's even more fun when it becomes a social activity that you get together with some of your friends and you go to every place from Cabela's, because guys do this too, or Neiman Marcus. That's not the point. The point is that the spending and the behavior is a social activity. It's a cultural activity. It's a feel-good activity. Your feeling brain is engaged. It's dopamine ingested. It's whatever. But you feel good about spending. On the other hand, you may be a saver. Saver has the same emotional feelings, but it's about saving money, about looking in their accounts grow, about knowing they've got the cash reserves, knowing that the market is doing well. And I'm not making a value judgment on either. It's just knowing that you have a natural wiring as a spender or a saver. Or maximizer, sufficer. A maximizer is somebody who needs to get the total value, everything out of that good or service that was presented or could be. You know, this is the person that can squeeze a nickel to make the buffalo burp, if you will. And then there's some other people that, hey, good enough. You know, hey, good enough. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but it's going to impact how you work with money. Let me give you an example. Maximizer, sufficer. If you're a sufficer, let's go back to the car buying experience again. You go in, you look at an automobile, and to you're a sufficer, you're going 80. A sufficer just says, hey, 80% of the time I'm happy, the other 20% I'll deal with it. Hey, get it out of here, we're good to go. Where a maximizer says, I want it all, I want it all. And so you're going and you're looking at the car's adequate, you buy it, you know, it gets a few dings and whatever. Maybe the fuel economy is not what they said, it's not as comfortable, but it's okay. It basically does what I want it to do. As opposed to the maximizer, who's got that car back in the dealership once a week for every little thing. I heard a little squeak. I heard this. It didn't do that. The tires only were rated at 50,000 miles. I got 49,999. I want new tires. On the money situation, becomes even more important if you're in the business and you're working with a financial planner. A sufficer says, hey, my accounts are basically going in the right direction. I don't have to worry much about it. Life is good. It's okay. Where a maximizer is watching it all the time and is incredibly engaged with the process. So when your advisor calls up and says, hey, Ted, I want to talk to you about how you doing in the markets, and I'm going to go, okay, things are fine. I kind of expected this. It's kind of the natural ebb and flow. But if I was a maximizer, I'd say, my God, I can't believe it. You lied to me. You're a thief. You told me these markets are going to be doing this and this and this, and this wasn't going to happen, and I was going to have this kind of money, and I've projected it out for the next 20 years, and I'm going to be broke. All I'm trying to say here is you have a natural money temperament. And because money and people are the common denominator of everything we do in our society, don't you think it's a good idea that you know what your money temperament is? Because it influences how you interact with just about everybody in a modern economy. I mean, unless you live in a cave on a subsistence farm, you've got to deal with people. You've got to deal with money. You've got to be able to do things, and your money temperament is out there leading the way. Where you shop, how you spend your money, how you save your money, the way you carry yourself is a function of your temperament. Money temperament simply means this is me. This is my thumbprint. This is how I react with money. This is how I think and feel about money. I have to have a new wardrobe every season, as opposed to I could care less. I still have a sweatshirt from high school. It still works fine. I'm not judging. Just realize that that's how you're naturally wired. Now, where this becomes a problem, and I'll put this in a partnership situation, you're the partner that wants the new clothes every fall, and the other partner is the one that says, hey, this stuff is good to go. I bought it in high school and it's still okay. I can see where that can be a position of conflict. So in a household with the other people that you're interacting with and you're spending and making money choices, if you have different money temperaments, that's an immediate position of conflict and stress. So it behooves you to figure out not only what your money temperament is, but the money temperament of the people you care about. If you're in sales, you're dealing with the public. Remember that people are coming in with their unique money temperament. It's human nature to assume everybody is just like us. That if I have a certain feeling about money, I just non-consciously or unconsciously assume everybody thinks and feels about money the same way I do. It's not true. So when you're working with people, maybe you need to figure out how to have that value conversation, particularly if it's a high value item that is consequential. And you as a consumer, if you're making a spending decision that is consequential, meaning that it's a long-term expensive purchase, a house, a car, a boat, a cruise, you'd better have that money temperament knowledge right up front, because the way you discuss the purchase, the way you decide to choose, is influenced by each other's biases, which is part of money temperament. Now, a bias is nothing more than the rule of thumb you use to make a decision with money that is based on your experience, your emotions, and what you think you know about the context and the circumstances. The problem with money bias is it can often be based on emotional, incorrect information that puts you in a position in which you're making a bad choice. But money temperament. Let me give you another example. If any of you are out there in sales, have you ever been into a sales situation and the management comes in and they're all excited about a sales contest? They spend hours and maybe thousands of dollars putting this thing together, and they've got a wonderful rollout, and it goes flat. It just doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is they did not take the time to determine the money temperament or the average money temperament of the audience, the recipients, the sales force. Just because it trips your trigger as a senior executive, it doesn't mean your folks that are out there doing the work are going to get excited about it. We make this assumption all the time. And this becomes a real problem with policy making. Policymakers, and I found this out working in Washington with the House and the Senate Armed Services Committee and some of the principals, that those unconscious money temperament biases were influencing policy decisions, and they were superimposing their money beliefs on other folks when in reality it was wrong or misdirected. So I can't tell you how important money temperament is. As a matter of fact, money temperament is something that we need to start talking about. And you need to arm yourself with this book to not only understand your money temperament, but be in a position, and I talk about this, the book at length, to give you the skill set to go out and say, okay, this is what's going on. And because I understand my money temperament, I realize in this context that I have a situational awareness, and I realize that I've got to be proactive and force myself in my thinking brain so I don't become susceptible to the stupid spending that my money temperament may want me to do. Now, this may sound very difficult, but it's not. Sometimes it's as easy as making a list. Think about it. We've all run into a store to buy one simple thing and end up buying something completely different and a lot more money and forgot the thing we were looking for. We do that because we're human. Humans do that. Or you're out shopping for a gift. This happens all the time. And you're out there shopping for the gift for some person to get something special. And you think you've knocked it out of the park. But because you don't understand that person's feeling, thinking brain and their temperament, it doesn't resonate. Or you're in a position that your thinking, feeling brain sabotages you and you make a dumb decision. So something as simple as making a list will force you into a thinking brain concept, and you won't make that dumb spending decision. It's not a big deal if you're spending little bits of money on non-consequential things. I don't begrudge you your designer coffee at $5 a hit on a limited basis. But if you're going to do that 2 or 3 times a day, now we're talking real money. I don't mind you buying a car. You need one. It's called transportation. But when you allow yourself to be reeled in, you buy a car you can't afford with stuff you don't need that costs more than your house, that's a different problem. So money temperament is the name of the game. And this is so important. I changed the name of the site, the banner. We're launching a movement. We need to get people thinking temperament. It's money temperament before product, behavior before product. We need to understand that unless you understand how you think and feel about money and your relationship with money, you will always be doing crazy things that will have consequences you may not like. And you have to understand that our culture is conspiring against us 24/7 to separate us from our money. And they do it this insidiously, and they do it emotionally, and they do it 24/7. You have to be aware of what's important, your money values, and you have to be able to understand your natural temperament, and then you have to take proactive steps to manage your behavior. You manage your behavior and make sure those things that are important are done in your thinking brain, not your feeling brain. Well, there you go. Money temperament. It's important. Be back in a couple of minutes. Next, we're going to talk about money knowledge.